Welcome to the Good Coach, Bad Coach podcast. I'm your co-host, Coach Buck, and I'm sitting alongside Coach Joey. Coach Joe, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
All's good. What's going on with you, Coach Buck?
I can't complain. It's just
Another
day or another podcast.
Another 900-degree day
Oh my goodness!
in Northeast Ohio.
Horrible. I had my air conditioning go out the other day. Awful experience.
It's
Sleeping
feeling-
in 90-degree heat.
It's pretty cool in the studio.
Yeah, no, because it got fixed. I knew you wouldn't come over here in 90-degree heat and record.
I would not.
So you do what you got to do. So today's episode, we're going to talk about the multi-sport athlete. Is it good for a kid to play a lot of sports, or should they be specializing?
Yeah, this is where individual comes into play.
No doubt about it.
Every kid is developed differently. They have certain talents and weaknesses depending on what sport it is. I think at a young age, if you're going to be an athlete, it's important to play all sports. It'll help you find your way for when you get a little bit older. You don't have to be great at every single sport, but it's the best way to test out possibly what your niche is and what you're good at. You got to start somewhere. The thing we have an issue with at Lowellville is the numbers. We don't have the numbers that some of these big schools have, so we have to have our kids play every single sport to fill a team and to try to compete. That's the biggest issue that we have. It's hard to specialize just in one sport or the other because it'll hurt the team. They don't have the numbers.
No, it is. It presents a challenge, and if I'm a strong believer in multi-sport athletes. However, I do think you have to make a decision at some point. Because I say this just based on the travel basketball. I mean, there comes a point where you have to dedicate your time to your craft. And I feel like doing that with 3 different sports or 4 different sports or whatever is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, a week ago we were in 3 sports. We were still playing baseball.
Yeah.
We were still playing basketball for summer league, and football started.
Yeah, and they're all great for hand-eye coordination. I mean, they're good for just different reasons, different experiences. But these larger schools, the argument on the flip side of that is you have a kid that goes to a very large school. Say they graduate 400, and they want to play basketball. Do you not have them do the other sports and just concentrate on basketball to compete? I mean, I would like to hear from somebody from a larger school on what they would do.
Yeah.
I think I would stick with the multi-sport approach anyway, because, kids growing. A kid that's good at baseball right now doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be a great baseball player by the time they're in high school.
It matters that the talent level is what matters, though, because in these bigger schools, if you don't play a sport all year long, you're going to get passed up. You could manage that in a small school where if you play football, you most likely could play basketball and so on and so forth. But if you're graduating 400 kids and you have 200 boys, you almost need to pick a sport that you want to dedicate yourself to, unless you're some outstanding 3-4-star athlete that goes to Ohio State or Alabama. We hear about those. But if you're not, you got to find your niche and work on that craft at these bigger schools.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be tough. I mean, imagine your kids at a big school, they like basketball, and it's just these kids are playing all year round. How do you even jump them back in? That get left behind mentality starts to creep in.
How would you like to be a kid that plays basketball at the youth level? Pretty good. Get to junior high, play basketball, pretty good. Now you become a freshman at this large school, and you don't ever get a chance to smell the court when you held your own since first, second grade.
Yeah. And it's what does that kid do at that point?
That's the disadvantage of going to a big school versus a small school. But the advantage of going to a big school is for the coach, you got your pick of the litter to build a nice program.
And you get your paycheck too, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. But the small schools, multi-sport athletes are very, very common. Mostly all these small schools in the MVAC, you hear about at the high school level, the quarterback plays basketball, he plays baseball, so on and so forth. And that's just the way it is because you need the numbers.
Do you think that contributes to some of these travel teams, destroying? Like, I guess where I'm trying to go with this is we sign a kids up for travel baseball, which I know it's a sensitive topic with you, but when you sign them up for travel baseball, how many of those kids are in that mindset that this is what I'm going to do from now until the time I'm a senior in high school?
Yeah, I mean,
these kids are unbelievable.
Every kid is different. When you're talking about that level, if you're referring to the schools that are winning 20-0 in the first inning and they're calling the game, those kids are playing all year long. There's no question about that. You didn't get that good and you didn't build that kind of a team unless you're playing together for more than just in season.
Do you think it's healthy for that kid though? I mean, yeah, they're winning championships and rings and all these trophies and stuff, but is that good for that kid?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what is what good that he's just concentrated on that sport.
Yeah.
I mean, again, every kid's different. If he's having a lot of success and he's winning and he's playing at a high level, that's okay. You don't have to play every single sport. It's okay to be good at one sport and not the others. What I can't stand is when somebody thinks they could play basketball because they're a great football player.
Absolutely.
Or vice versa. You could be the greatest quarterback or the greatest running back, but if you can't dribble a ball, play defense, or understand the game of basketball, there's no use you being out there. Just because you're a good football player doesn't mean you're good at baseball or basketball.
The kids that specialize early on, I feel bad for. And I say that because, say you got a kid, you go to a big school, you're into baseball, you're in 3rd or 4th grade, it's your thing, you're kicking some butt, you're one of the best players on the team, you're getting trophies, this, that, and the other. And by the time they grow, and I'm not an expert on, child development, but I am a believer in kids are different from year to year. Say that kid grows, has a huge growth spurt in a year. They're not going to swing a bat the same way. They're not going to understand how their feet are, there's just a lot of moving, awkward type of things. And what if they don't pan out to be that baseball player that they envision to be?
Yeah. Well, so you could be great at one sport in your youth, and then when you get older, you're better at something else.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
All the time.
You could have been a star baseball player when you were 9 years old, and now as a junior in high school, you couldn't hit a baseball to save your life, but you're one hell of a running back.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Exactly.
Every kid is damn. Every kid has their own strengths and weaknesses, and it just has to play itself out.
Yeah. No, and it's like these kids that are, so that goes back to the point. Like, should they be doing
at the youth level? Yeah.
Sport?
No, I think at the youth level, you play them all and let it figure itself out.
Yeah, I think you have to do that. Because if you don't do that, I think you're depriving a kid of an opportunity later on in life. That's all they're thinking about is one sport when they could be great at something else.
And it works itself out, though. As you get older, we don't know what our kids are going to do in junior high or high school.
No idea. You don't know what they're going to do next year.
You don't.
They could have a great season and then the next season be a strong tail up and then they could pick back up. But I mean, if you're growing, like kids are growing, it's awkward. It's gotta, it's awkward for them to grow. They're used to dribbling the ball one way. Then all of a sudden you got to dribble that ball a little harder than you did last time because you're growing and then the coordination aspect changes.
But I'm a firm believer in putting in the time, whatever sport you're playing.
No, you have to.
Let's switch gears here for a second.
Sure.
How important is playing a sport? This is not a question. I'm asking it as a question, but I'm telling you how I feel about it. How important is playing a sport all year long right now? You have to do it.
Yeah, if you want to compete at a high level, you have
We're
to
seeing
do
it.
it. But you can't do it with all sports.
You can't. But if you want to be competitive at whatever sport you're at, you got to put the time in all year. It can't just be in season.
Yeah, you're trying to squeeze 18 months into
Yeah.
12 months when you're doing these sports, and it's just.
But
it's a
that's
lot.
where
It's a challenge.
that's where picking and choosing starts to happen. If you feel the need to play baseball all year long, you're probably not going to be that good of a basketball or football player. If you just play basketball all year long, how are you going to be able to hit a baseball? You're not practicing baseball.
No, you're not, and then you're put behind in that sport. So it begs the question too, though. So we're at the advantage of how you took on. I don't want to give you too many compliments, but you really took on the basketball.
Winning matters.
You took on the basketball circuit here
Sure.
in our town,
Yeah.
no doubt about it. And it's fun, it's exciting, and it's contagious. And I think people are trying to replicate that in other sports. What advice would you give to a coach that wants to start something like that
First of
for
all,
a different sport?
you got to know what the hell you're doing.
That's
as a
true.
coach.
That's true.
Anybody can learn X's and O's.
Everybody can do that.
You can Google, show me a man offense. It'll come right up for you. You could Google, show me the best defense for youth football. It'll come up. But not just anybody could teach hard work, being a competitor,
Yeah.
being a good teammate, being coachable. I talked about this a couple episodes ago. When these youth kids come to us, we teach a culture right out of the gate. We set the tone. And I think you said it best. As time goes on, these kids gain your personality.
Oh, there's no question.
They
There's
start
no question
acting
about
and
it.
thinking the way you think.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing. That's how you know a kid is bought in.
Yeah.
But anybody can be a coach. X's and O's, if that's what it boils down to, you can find the greatest offense right online. You could study it. You could insert it and just hope that your team could run it. But
It's about the Jims and Joes.
it's
about
the
your
other
personnel.
stuff that comes
What-
along with it.
I mean, like a certain offense might not work for all the kids that you have.
No.
It becomes a game of like what your personnel, what you're working with.
You
what-
learn your team. Learn your team and
play your strengths.
and get those kids to buy in to what you're saying. That's the biggest thing. You get a kid at 5, 6, 7 years old that's enjoying themselves.
Oh, there's nothing like
What's
it.
more satisfying than
It's
that?
awesome. Especially when they start to learn to play together and it's not like a selfish thing. Like they truly just want each other to do well. That's one thing I love as a coach. Like
Yeah.
when another kid scores a point and the entire team is going nuts.
Yep.
Like they feel that energy.
Let me ask you something. I don't know the answer to this because we're both small town boys.
Small town boys without psychology degrees.
Do
Probably drive
you
them crazy.
think kids at bigger schools get the experience, the same excitement as our kids do in these small schools?
I don't think so. I think that, well, maybe, but I think a lot of them probably get lost in the shuffle, because a larger school, we have the same coaches for pretty much every sport. We don't have,
and we see a
any-
lot of the same kids,
Yeah.
especially in rec.
There's no other volunteers. Like it's whoever you could find to be a coach.
No,
ends
but they
up
coach from
coaching.
the bleachers.
Well, that's another story. But what I'm trying to say is these kids start to learn your personality because they see you all the time. They're taking on your philosophy. Bigger school, you might have one school that graduates a ton of kids might have 5 different coaches for 5 different
Yeah.
teams, and you're not getting the
I
same
agree.
coach every time.
Yeah.
And one coach may be very passionate about winning.
Yeah, that's
The
the
next one
commitment
might-
side of it. The commitment side of it is so big.
And I really think it depends on what kind of coach you get, for those kids, and I think a lot of it's probably luck of the draw.
Yeah, I think coaching youth sports, it really, really puts things in a perspective of personalities. Young kids.
Oh.
I mean, I know I coach at the high school level too, and kids have different personalities. But how different are personalities at the youth level. You got 3 kids. You got
Oh,
3
yeah.
kids that all
And
have
my
3.
oldest definitely took on your personality,
Which is a good thing. But you have 3 kids that, in my opinion, they're not my kids and I'm not around them every day, but I
Yeah.
know them well. You're a close friend of mine.
Sure.
All 3 of your kids got different personalities.
Oh, significantly different.
And that's in the same household.
Yes. Yes.
So I just think that that's what makes it so special coaching youth sports. When you have a bunch of different personalities that you put together and try to build a winning culture out of that group. It's the most satisfaction. What the is the word?
The most satisfying thing.
Is when
I made a joke. Sorry.
I like
I
that.
couldn't resist. Yeah, go ahead.
it's when you have a group of kids with different personalities, different athletic ability, different approaches to the game, and they show up and play for you and they buy into what you're selling to them, and then you become winners.
Yeah.
It's the most satisfaction. What's the word?
Satisfactory. Satisfaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Satisfaction. The most satisfaction from a kid.
I definitely didn't have that word in the spelling bee. I misspelled cabbage.
Cabbage.
Yeah.
That's a tough. I never made a spelling bee, so I mean, I did okay.
How did I make it anyways? I think that was my word, cabbage. You have to ask your mom. Your mom knows about the spelling
Oh,
bee.
I'm sure.
She mentions it all the time.
Yeah, cabbage. I don't even know if I know how to spell 2 B's.
Google it when you're looking up the
Mm.
offense for. But
Maybe you can name your next offense Cabbage.
there you go.
I think
that'd
you
be
should.
a good play.
Yeah, let's run Cabbage.
Big schools versus small schools. Give me your pros and cons. Now, we don't have anybody that we really know that's involved in a big school. We certainly weren't. Our kids weren't.
No.
But we're playing against teams that are big schools.
For sure.
So we sort of see what they have. And sometimes I get somewhat jealous that they got 12, 13 kids to choose from. We're
Yeah.
dealing with that now. But tell me your pros and cons of what you think it's like going to a big school versus a small school like Louisville.
I think a big school, and again, like you just mentioned, I never been to a big school. I never was enrolled in a big school, but I think one of the disadvantages if you don't, I feel like if you're a pretty good athlete or you're able to learn the ability to be on that team and be competitive enough to be on that team, you can contribute and it builds confidence. I think if you have a pretty decent player at a big school, you got 10 kids on the team significantly better than them, they're going to lose their confidence and lose interest in the game. So I think that's a disadvantage to being at a larger school, is the confidence building of a kid that, I think if you're not the best player on a team or
You
if
do.
you're one of the worst.
Well,
you
until you go home and Aunt Sally sees you.
Yeah, but
Then
that
she tells you you're
that
great.
only goes so far with age. Aunt Sally probably gets away with that till about 3rd grade, and then they start to know, I think.
You know what I think is a positive about going to a small school? You can get noticed even if you're not that great.
Oh, no question.
If you go to a big school and you aren't good, you don't even get noticed.
No,
You don't even get looked at.
you're lost in the shuffle.
If you come to a school that graduates 30 kids and your ability's not great, but you have a good attitude, you work hard,
It's my favorite kind of kid.
you are a good teammate, you probably don't even get to show a coach at a big school that you're that because they're not paying attention to you.
Right.
But if you come to a small school and your ability's not there, but you have some other good qualities, we notice you.
Yeah.
We welcome you. There's a place for you. And I think that is a huge advantage going to a small school versus somebody that graduates 400 kids.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think the advantage to a larger school is if you are the next, I don't know, Michael Jordan or Larry Bird or whoever you want to pick there, you'll get noticed by probably colleges and stuff more easily than
And that's
you would.
that's still the 1% though. I mean,
Yeah, no, and you're right. And you're not playing to be in the pros when you're, at this level. You're just playing to have fun, be noticed, and have some success,
Yeah.
build confidence.
there's nothing more what's that word?
Satisfaction. There's nothing more satisfactory than spell cabbage. The word is cabbage.
There's nothing that excites me more than winning at a small school with very low number of kids.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It is so beautiful. The kids love it. They're excited.
And it becomes such a community thing too.
It does. And
like
it goes back
it's
to
beyond us. Like
it goes
I mean,
back to the parades and the banners on the bridges. We live in a unique area where if you do any type of winning, it's noticed by everybody.
oh, there's no doubt about it.
The whole community comes together.
Yeah, and they get excited about it, and it's
And it trickles
just
down to the
really,
kids.
really cool to see.
Yep.
And you know, on the flip side of that, that's where like also too, you know, people start to want their kids into something like that. And
Well, the downside of
if you don't have the passion and fire as a coach, you're not going to ever replicate that.
the downside of coaching in a small community is we know everybody. We know the kids, we know the parents.
Everybody knows everybody.
So you potentially have to tell a kid who you know that they're not that good.
And that could ruin friendships too.
They could ruin friendships.
You know, I mean,
But it doesn't do us any good to tell the kid he's doing great if he's not. So it just depends on how the family takes it. But that's the one positive about coaching at a big school. You probably don't have the relationships outside that we have
no, it's
with the
kinda
other parents.
cut and dry.
Yeah.
Talent. That's it.
But those are pros and cons.
No doubt. You got to deal with yeah, it is. It's tough. I mean, you're really good friends with somebody and their kid's not what you're looking for on their team. I mean, that's a hard conversation.
It is. It is. But you have to be truthful about it.
But you want to root for the kid. And I'm
Absolutely.
not saying you're not rooting for the kid.
No, you
but
hope he is good.
you're like, you know, maybe you're not ready for this, but
Yeah.
why don't you enroll him in this until he is ready? And it's not always going to be no, but provide some sort of direction for them to have some success.
Small school, small community. When you win, everybody has your back.
Everybody knows, everybody cares, but everybody wants to be coached too.
They do. Now, when you
Everybody.
lose, guess what? Coach stinks.
Quarterback,
Yeah,
or coach point guard.
Coach is no
coach,
good.
Pitcher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Hey, what do you think about going to some mail, Coach Buck?
Let's go to some mail. All right, man. So time for mail. We're going to start with Nick. Nick from McDonald asks, how would you manage a kid's competitiveness when it ends up having a negative impact on their teammates?
Well,
It's a good question.
yeah, the number one way I could see that happening is when you have a kid that's taken something more serious than one of his teammates. If they're not all on the same page with how important that particular game is or that season is, it could definitely cause some sort of an issue. That's the importance of getting kids right from the gate to understand how important it is to be a team and to play together and to think the same way. And it goes back to that culture that I always talk about. But it absolutely could become a negative if you don't control it. If you have two kids on the opposite end, one wants to win real bad, the other kid is just going through the motions, that's a disaster for the team.
Oh, I mean, I feel like that happens a lot with rec sports.
Yeah, you never have an entire team
I mean,
that is all for the drive and the win and
Yeah.
the hard nose that you would get on the travel side.
yeah. And it's tough to teach a kid how to be competitive. You know,
It is. It is.
You know, either they want to win or they don't want to be there, you know, and that's a challenge. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know how you help that situation other than trying to get that kid that's causing the distraction to buy in.
Exactly. Because you don't want the kid that has the big competitive nature. You don't want him going the other way.
No, you want him to keep that.
You want him to keep that because that's what we're teaching. Our job is to get the other kid up to speed to think the same way.
No, that was a good question.
Good question, Nick. Thank you.
All right.
Why does McDonald win so much at everything? That's my question
Do
for
they
you,
play?
Nick.
How often do they play basketball year round?
I don't know, but they seem to win.
Sixth grade's good, fifth grade,
Yeah.
all the way down, boys and girls.
Yeah, Nick, why don't you send your kid to Louisville?
Nick, what are you doing? Nick, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Nick, what are you doing in McDonald to have your kids good at every age level?
Nick, send us an email. We want to talk.
Yeah,
to
we
you.
want to talk to you, Nick. All right, let's head to the next question here. We're gonna go with Mike. Mike from Girard.
Hey, Mike.
Mike wants to know, Coach Joe. He wants to know: do you ever fear sports will go away at your small school?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that would be the absolute worst case scenario. Our small town, we thrive on sports, extracurricular. We just talked about it. It brings the community together. I would absolutely hate to see sports go away.
I don't think that would ever happen.
No, I mean, we got the numbers. We've been here before.
Yeah, and people are very passionate. There's a lot of people outside of the actual like team and that are in the community that want to see a sports team.
Yeah.
I think there's too many people in the community that would let it fail.
I mean, if there's a couple things that this town absolutely needs, we need sports, we need pasta, and we need the Louisville Festival.
That's true.
Those three things have to always be at our fingertips if you want to live in Louisville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fear. We know the numbers don't lie, but I certainly would do anything in my power to make sure that doesn't happen.
I don't think it's gone away. I just don't think, I don't fear it, if we're being really honest. I mean, I get it. Like, there's small numbers and stuff, but I just think we have too many kids that like playing sports. Like I do think our youth programs are good. I think that starts with like, I know we mentioned a couple of podcast episodes ago about the Louisville football and how good of a job they do. I mean, these kids are getting engaged. Parades. I mean, they're getting all kind of stuff that I know I never got that it would have been fun to have. And I think as long as we keep things exciting for them, keeping it exciting for the community, I don't think it's going to be an issue.
And one thing that could help is if Nick from McDonald sends his kid to Louisville.
What are you doing at McDonald, Nick?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for the question.
Thanks, Kelly. Or Mike, I'm sorry. I'm reading the next question. We're going to save Kelly's question for the end here, but let's hop over to Jill from Struthers. Jill wants to know, is it ever okay for a kid to holler at a referee? Jill, I don't even know. Like, I got to be honest, Jill. I don't even know why you'd ask that question. Like, do you think it's okay? I mean, like,
yeah, I mean,
my son can now yell at, like, what do you think?
So let me back up.
I mean, thanks for writing, Jill. I don't mean to be a total jerk here, but I mean, it's kind of weird.
I got a different take on this.
Right, go for it. I don't know.
So coming from a coach who doesn't particularly get along with referees all the time.
No, that's another podcast, though. I'm glad you brought that up.
To answer Jill's question, no, it's never okay. It's never okay for a coach, including myself, to yell at a referee or umpire, whatever it may be. It is absolutely not okay. However, competitive nature takes over, and sometimes it happens. You can't allow a child to get to that point. It'll ruin the team. It'll ruin him. It's not a good look. So as a coach who sometimes gets off track and gets himself in a jam with referees, that's not a good look, because potentially a kid could see that and think that it's okay. I understand why sometimes kids do. I understand sometimes why coaches do. It doesn't mean it's okay. You're competitive. You're trying to win. The one thing that I really don't understand, did you ever notice there's no repercussions, though, for the referee to blow the call?
No, and sometimes they're very argumentative.
So
it's like they want to fight with you.
There's, I had this conversation with Coach Tony Matisse, 550 win coach. He's been through a few different organizations, and he certainly has seen numerous amount of referees, hundreds of them. 20 years ago, when you got in a confrontation with a referee, they walked away. Now you argue a call, they get in your face and they want to come back for more. And that's typically when things escalate. They don't walk away anymore. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying that you're in the right as a coach or a player to give it back to the referee. What I'm saying is there's repercussions for the player and the coach, but there's never repercussions for the referee. How often you hear a referee get suspended because he blew a call?
Never.
It doesn't happen. But if you blow a call that cost the team the game and that coach blew up on you, you get suspended.
Yeah.
You get fined. There's never any repercussions for the referees. That's the only thing I don't like. It's not okay to yell at a ref. It's definitely not okay for a player, but I understand how it could happen.
So what do you do with that? Like, so what do you think the solution to that is? Should that be trained, like a part of the referee training, like to walk away?
I don't believe that the state does enough to protect the coaches or the players. There's no repercussions for referees to blow calls. I suppose they get graded. I suppose that they get evaluated. Maybe they can't ref a big playoff game or a tournament game, but they don't get suspended. They don't get fined. They don't have to take the online class. They blew the call. You didn't like it. They give you the technical. You blow up again. They throw you out. It gets turned into the state.
Yeah. Then you really got no chance as a coach to really do anything about that, or a player or anything.
No.
Yeah, no, you're right. There you go, Ohio. Do something with your referee. All right. Now we're going to go to our final question of the podcast. Let's see here. Who do we want to pick out today? Let's go with Kelly. Kelly from Newcastle. All right. We're jumping states now. We're heading on to the PA side.
Do they pay taxes on their clothes yet over there? Or no?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm going to go buy some shirts after the podcast. Yeah. She wants to know what are your hobbies outside of coaching?
I got nothing.
I don't either. Listen, Kelly.
There's a reason why we're doing this podcast, Kelly.
Listen, Kelly, when you're coaching youth sports in a small town, chances are you're a multi-sport coach. There's no time for anything. I mean, my day, and you could attest to the same, I'm sure. You wake up, you go to work, you go to practice, you go to bed. You go to work, you go to practice, there's no time for anything.
Outside of going to work, I am with my son the entire evening.
Same.
We are together, whether it's at practice, out in the yard, a game, all year long. It's always youth sports. And I'm not complaining about it. I love it. I'm having a ball. But I don't have hobbies. I don't golf. I don't particularly like to leave the house other than if it's to go to a game or come into the studio and do this.
Yeah. Outside of going to games and practices, I would, if I could stay at home forever and never leave, that's probably what I would do.
That's why you built the studio in your house. I have to drive up here. I got to drive the 6 miles.
So you got to drive
every single
6 miles
Sunday.
Like one.
Every Sunday I got to drive to satisfy.
Oh, you poor thing. You poor thing.
No better place I'd rather be. Thanks for the question.
Thanks for the question. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the podcast. Really appreciate the support. The questions are awesome.
Keep them coming.
Keep it coming. Visit us on Facebook, too, if it's easier to drop a line that way. You could email me at Coach Buck at goodcoachbadcoach.com or visit us on Facebook. Like the page. Leave us something, positive or negative. I read everything. And look forward to catching you guys on the next one. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Till next time. Thanks, everybody.